And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MEA GT Championship Series here at MEA. It's been almost 2 years since the last time we have hosted an event in Forza Motorsports or any of the racing platforms that we have the available options to do so. It's been a long time coming. It's great to be back. It's great to be back in the booth. And, you know, I've missed broadcasting. And once again, I'm SSR Mayhem. Thank you for joining us here tonight in the revamp series. This is MEA's top series to contend in. And, you know, if you're a driver that looks to win championships, if you come to MEA, this is one of the big three you want to win. We've had former champions in the past, such as Servi and Hydra and a bunch of other guys that I could mention, you know, such as Barcode and whatnot. There's a plenty nice list there. This is the 6th season of the MEA GT Championship Series. First and foremost, I want to let you guys know I am still new to the spectate mode in this game. I basically have been as gone as this game's been released. So it's like I said, when I say it's good to be back, it's great to be back, but just bear with me as I'm going to be kind of learning some of the stuff on the fly for today's race, and as the 6 weeks come and go, it should get better as we go along. So don't mind me if I butcher some things. It's also my first time back in the broadcast booth in 2 years, so if I'm butchering some stuff or I feel a little bit lost speaking, that's probably why. And for those that have formerly watched here in MEA, I do have my chat box up on my phone, so I will be able to kind of go over some of the things that you guys might want me to go over throughout tonight's race. And Phoenix, it's great to see you, my friend. And Reward, yes, that's great to be back. So here we go. This is round number 1. The cars will go around 2 pace laps here today as we prepare for the Silverstone, and this way we can say a Grand Prix. We got 13 cars on the card for tonight. It was ESV Green in qualifying who was the fastest. I don't have the results in front of me, I do apologize. But it was Sean from F1R and ESV Bobberts that rounded out the top 3. And it's good to see a lot of faces from before. We got a couple of new guys that have never raced in MEA as well, such as Green, Legrec. I do apologize on some of these names. And for you guys in the chat, if you're able to correct me on some of the newer drivers that I have not spoken about in the past, it would be greatly appreciated. So we got 30, I believe it's 30 laps because we're going to have 2 pace laps. So the way that the series goes, for anyone that's never been here before, MEA has a pace lap. In this case, we're going to have 2 pace laps. They're going to go around the track twice, one single filed, and the next one they'll go down pit road. And then after that, they will double up and we'll get going. Now, in the great scheme of things, if everything works out perfectly, the leader will go green. The way that the green flag works is the cars, based on the row, once the car hits the start-finish line, it will be green. And then once the leader completes lap 1, not all the field, once the leader completes lap 1, it goes green to the end. We have up to 3 restarts. Anytime from now till that first lap's complete, if someone disconnects and DNFs out, we will make another attempt. So like I said, up to 3 restart attempts. It's great to have a nice little field. We have over 24 signups. We got 13 here tonight. So again, it's been a long time since MEA has hosted. We're trying to get back in the scheme of things, and with all the ruckus that's going on in the Forza Motorsport world, we still plan to continue as long as we can hosting races on the Forza Motorsport platform. We didn't forget about everybody. We didn't forget about the drivers. We've had many people over the last couple of years reach out to not just me, but to the organization and other people that help make this thing work. And, you know, we appreciate the love. We appreciate everybody that's reached out. And, you know, it's just been, it's really nice to know that we were missed. And like I said, we do apologize for not being around. It got to a point for the organization and myself to be a little bit heartfelt for you guys. It was getting tiring. From my end, I was struggling keeping up with the organization part of it, running everything, and I think everybody was kind of getting burnt out at the time. So the break's been good. There's been a lot of excitement coming back to Forza Motorsport for the Mayhem's Endurance Association. You know, you got to go back to 2018, 2019 when MEA first started. It was this series, it's very familiar. When we started the MEA GT Championship Series, so like several years ago, this is how it started, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't have a lot of drivers sign up. We knew coming back we probably wouldn't have the numbers we once had, and we're okay with that. We're happy with everyone that signed up or has shown up today. We know some of the drivers couldn't make it today, so should be more next week. But with that being said, the growth of MEA over the course of time has been tremendous. We had a huge spike in our second season. The GT Championship Series itself, its second year, it had over 130 signups. Over 120 had competed. So, you know, we're looking to come back. We're looking to have everyone join us. Now, the way that the GT Championship Series works now, ladies and gentlemen, is one car per week. Because the game's a lot different than the other game back in Forza 7, we decided that each week there would be a new car for each track. So at Silverstone, it's the Aston Martin, and you know, next week I'm not 100% sure, but it might be a Corvette, might be a BMW. When I say I've given up a lot of my work, I should say, the organization part of it, I'm literally giving JJ and Bobberts the opportunity to lead this organization, and I'm kind of taking over the role of just looking over everything and broadcasting, which is something I truly love doing. Hey Riddle, I appreciate that. It's great to be back. And as you guys know, I don't engage too much with the chat. I do pay attention to it, so if you guys have questions, things like that, for me to go over throughout the race, don't be afraid to put it in the chat box, and I will do the best I can to get through the field and everything else. There's the race map on your screen. They only got a few turns to go till the opening flaps of this one. It's MEA's GT Championship Series. This is what it's all about. Coming back, getting the fire in the belly. It's great to see a bunch of great drivers that show up for this. I've never seen ESV Green. I heard he's very good. It's good to see Sean Design Bobbert's back. It's good to see newcomers like LeGrick. And again, if I mispronounce somebody's name, I'm going to just say Leg. And if someone can pronounce it for me or the best way, I will do the best I can to do so. We see Roxman's back. We haven't seen Roxman in probably 2-3 years now. King Cameron, Rewar, it's all good. It's all good. And look at those paint schemes. And I saw that Phoenix did a lot of these schemes. And Phoenix, I know you're listening in. Great work as always, my friend. It's not only wonderful to be back here at MEA, but to see the same people doing the same things as they always did. It's nice to see lovely schemes like that. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Round one of the MEA GT Championship Series is underway, and green flag here at Silverstone. As we ride on with F1R Design, they'll go into turn number one. Design, look to the inside of Sean. He'll take over the second spot, going right behind ESV Green. Now looks at into the inside of Green. It's going to be Design once again. I hear a little bit of cluttering and clanking in the back of the pack, probably the mid-pack group. Let's tune into those guys real quick here, as we'll go down to Bobberts there in the fifth spot. It's ESV Bobberts getting a little bit of a nudge by AMS JJ Reds. JJ now door to door with ESV Bobberts as they head into the turn. And ESV Green's got about 1/10 of a second over F1R Design and Sean. Those guys are all on train right now as JJ Reds takes over the fifth spot from ESV Bobberts, and Bobberts isn't done defending just yet. It's F1R Obvious right behind him, but Obvious didn't get a good run off the corner. Now he's playing defense on AMS Rambo. You know, one of the good things about coming back is seeing not only familiar faces but familiar teams here at MEA. You know, we know a lot of the ESV guys. We know a lot of the AMSs, and obviously F1R, a newer team for me. I know the group of people of that team. I've gotten to talk to a couple of people. It's great that things are going well. You know, back when Sean used to drive for Rise Motorsports, a team that Phoenix obviously knows very well, when they shut down, a new home needed to be made. as AMS Rambo still putting a little pressure on Obvious, who's back to the bumper almost of ESV Bobberts. Back to the front, however, it's ESV Green, the leader of the pack, leading Design and Sean. The top 3 cars starting to separate themselves from the pack. And I know everybody's probably seen it a lot longer than me, but this spectate mode is way better than Forza 7 in my opinion. Angle-wise, it's still got a couple of funky angles on some tracks, but from what I've seen, it's very nice, and I'm glad that I don't have to juggle around different camera views the entire time. However, for you guys watching at home, if there's an angle you'd like me to try to entertain a little bit, just let me know. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at the game camera as well from the car view, as we are now on lap 4 of 32, or in this case 2 of 30, as everybody was able to get through the opening lap with no problem. And Redline, it's great to be back as well. I missed you guys a lot. For those that don't know, I just had a kid 4 or 5 months ago, actually 5 months ago today. So I'm a dad now, for those that don't know, which is another reason why it's been very difficult to get back into the scheme of things, is ESV Green now playing defense on F1R. Design not letting him go just yet, and it looks like Sean's fallen off just a tiny bit there, but he's not too far behind as the lead battle's heating up still. And Design, you know, what's there not good to say about Design? Design's a guy that is very gritty, puts in a lot of effort, puts in a lot of time to his craft. I remember when the Design first came to MEA, and, you know, still pushing the limits, still pushing the boundaries of these new faces. You know, Sean, back there in the 3rd spot, is currently playing defense on AMS JJ Reds. Let's hop on board to the 3rd place battle. We got 2 battles on the racetrack with the 5th place driver of F1R Leg currently sitting there watching it, as ESV Bobberts still running in that 6th spot in front of F1R Obvious. JJ looking for a gap, nothing there. And here they come across the stripe. Looks like the top 10, looks like about the top 9 cars are pretty within one another. It's when you get back to about 10th and 11th with Cam and Houseman that the gap has kind of separated themselves. Let's pull up the race map a little bit here, see what we got to work with. Maybe I should get off that. And everyone's still within a good corner or two of each other, so nothing drastic just yet. Let's hop back with AMS Rambo. He's a little bit further back than I like, so let's hop on with Freitas. I know the driver, I don't know how to pronounce the current name, but HYR looking to try to take over that 7th place spot, which Obvious was working on ESV Bobberts for about a lap and a half, and it looks like he's just kind of fallen off, and he almost clips the curb right there, gets a little loose, but hangs on to the car. Bobberts, on the other hand, back on the offensive end now, looking to try to take over that 5th place spot after losing one to AMS JJ Reds. And it's great to have you back, Godzilla. I do love the new spectate mode. I mean, this is way better than what we had. As still, we got about 3 battles on the racetrack. We got a battle for the lead, 3rd and 5th right now, as Design still staying to the bumper. BSV Green. Now here goes Bobberts down to the inside. He'll try to take over the 5th place spot. They're door to door. They bang just for a brief moment. And ESV Bobberts gets back into the top 5 and looking for some more. Now it's F1R Sean trying to get back that 3rd place spot from AMS JJ Reds. JJ Reds, let's talk about that guy. Comes from a long way back when he used to run RZX, the team that he once loved and still loves to this day. And it's good to see him just improving as a driver since day one, watching him grow and now turning into kind of in this current setting, a superstar almost here at MEA, as you know, competing with the guys like Sean, Design, Green. It's good to see development. And one of the best things about being a broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen, is to see the growth of drivers over the course of time. As we got the top 6 right now within 2.5 seconds of one another, ESV Green has led every lap so far, but it's F1R Design who hasn't let up just yet on him, as we'll hop on with him for a moment. That's a neat camera, but we're going to hop on with this camera as we take a ride with Design for a lap here, trying to work ESV Green, who's got a little bit about, I'd say about 4.5 car length gap on Design. I think, if anything, Design would love to be an MEA champion here in the GT Championship Series. Guy that works real hard. One of the things that has changed this year, or I should say at least for this opening series, is MEA for the first time in a major series hosted by MEA. Qualifying is happening within 30 minutes of the start of the race, something MEA has never done before. As people know, traditionally MEA operates their qualifying, our qualifying, during the week. So this is a little bit new for us, and we're hoping it works out well, as this battle for the lead still out of work. AMS JJ Reds still got Sean right on his bumper, and it looks like Leg is putting the work on ESV Bobberts. Let's head back and take a look at the 5th place battle right now. Bobberts, who's been on the defensive end and on the offensive end of this race, is now back on the defensive end. You know, I've talked to Bobberts a little bit before the series opened back up. And Bobberts said, I've lost a little bit of my pace, but I still feel like I can compete and win races. And you can't doubt a guy that has had a lot of success here at MEA, such as ESV Bobberts. And Bobberts, you know, he's won championships for Slapshift Racing, Elusive Motorsports, all these teams that he's driven for, and it's not been many. He's been very loyal to the teams he's driven for. Looking to try to put another title together. His last championship was 2 years ago in the MEA NASCAR Cup Series. And for those that are just tuning in, welcome to MEA. This is the MEA GT Championship Series. We are back. We are happy to be back as we're racing here at Silverstone. Bobberts has put a little bit of a gap on Leg and now putting the work on F1R Sean. And Sean, who just got passed about 3-4 laps ago to AMS JJ Reds, now on the defensive end once again, as Bobberts looking to be on the attack. And we just mentioned it, how he's been working, being defensive and also being offensive. We also got HYR back there. Freitas, I am sorry, I don't know how to say that name. Maybe someone, again, you guys can correct me, because this battle right here are 2 drivers that I do not know how to pronounce their names, and I do apologize, and I'm sure I'll get corrected. Oh, thank you. Dad Life has been pretty busy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. He's a special little kid. I'm very happy to have him in my life, but it's definitely worn me out. And I'll tell you what, it's great to have the energy, though, to be back here calling these races for you guys, as Bobbert's still working on Sean, and HYR here putting the work on Leg. Now, here's the kicker for everyone that's tuning in or has been watching. There is no mandatory pit stops for this race. This race could, I believe, is set to go over an hour to an hour and a half, somewhere in that range. It might be an hour 15. But the thing about it is the drivers have the option to pit when they need to, whatever tires they want to have it set up on. Right now, I don't even know what the tires are set up to, and maybe I should play with some of the settings here. Ooh, did we just lose somebody, or did I just hit the wrong thing? It might be both. We're on a little buffer here, and oh, it's F1R Obvious. Looks like a disconnect for F1R Obvious. That'll leave 12 drivers on the track. Obvious, who was in the mid-pack, putting the work in early on, is out of this one early. So tough break for him. I'll be honest, I gotta play with this thing a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I am definitely messing with it right now because I I didn't know if it showed us the I didn't know if it showed the tires. It looks like Bobberts gets to the inside of Leg, and Leg has kind of been in that battle of offense and defense. Do you have a leader comparison on this thing? Well, we got a three-way battle here for the 5th spot, as it's Leg and HYR putting the pressure on not just one another, but also ESV Bobberts. I'm literally, sorry guys, I'm trying to fix this because I haven't seen this yet. Okay, there we go. That's better. I was trying to fix this the whole time. Let's go back to the lead battle, however, as it was ESV Green still putting the clinic on, but it's Design who is not letting him go. AMSJJ Red still stalking them in the wings, with F1R Sean no longer being attacked by ESV Bobberts. So the lead battle still stands. It is ESV Green leading F1R Design. So right now, your top 12 still remain on the racetrack. We only lost one driver of F1R Obvious. And for those that are tuning in that might not be signed up, the MEA GT Championship Series is going to remain open till the halfway point of the season. So feel free to tune in to our Discord channel. We also have our X account at MEA Online Racing, formerly Twitter. You can get all the information you need to be a part of the MEA events here, as we race right now at Silverstone. ESV Green still putting the defense on F1R Design, and you know the patience is important in these races. You don't want to overdo it too early, because making an early mistake could cost you for the remainder of the race, and it's hard to kind of fight back when the guy you're chasing is pretty equal to what you're running. And it's still ESV Green, F1R Design, AMSJJ Reds, F1R Sean, and ESV Bobberts rounding out the top 5. Let's go back to the 5th place driver of ESV Bobberts, who's been playing defense against F1R Leg. Looks like HYR kind of falling off just a little bit. And Bobbert's still playing defense and isn't really been playing a lot of offense since he's kind of fallen off. And there it goes, door-to-door, Leg to the inside of Bobberts, now for the 5th spot. Bobberts trying to maintain the outside lane, gets a little bit loose going into the corner. It's still able to maintain the inside as he comes out, and he'll maintain the 5th place spot. Leg tried to pull a fast one, but wasn't able to get it in. And here goes F1R Sean now trying to track down AMSJJ Reds for that 3rd spot. JJ, who's taken over the 3rd spot, now looking to play some defense against the guy he's taking it from, as Sean now putting the work in and trying to track down JJ Reds. Looks like Design's lost another 10th to the race leader. We'll check on them here momentarily as the 5th place battle still going here. And Bobbert's still playing the defense. Now JJ's under fire. Sean looks to the inside, and he'll take over the 3rd spot. I wasn't ready for Sean to do that. I knew he was catching up to JJ Reds, and JJ's going to take his first pit stop of the race. So JJ Reds down in pit road right now. Also HYR Fridas as well will go with him. So Bobberts will stay out, as he's got a little bit of a gap on Leg now. Design looks like it's starting to fall off just a little bit, but still staying in striking distance. Okay, so I was right. It was Fridas. And there's the Discord link down in the chat for those that needed it. I saw Godzilla trying to get that from my Twitch, which it's unfortunately not set up that way, so I do apologize, but I was able to get that for you. F1R Design. Now, to everybody in the chat that knows this spectate mode, is there any way I can pull up tires? What type of tires they're using? If someone can answer that for me, that'd be great, because that's something I would like to put on the screen for everybody that's tuning in. And I'd like to know myself, because I have no idea what they're driving right now. I assume that JJ was on softs, the way that Sean was able to take that spot back. So, yeah, if you guys can get in there and let me know. Okay, so wear percentage is the only way. Got it. So I'm assuming I'm going to have to go to driver data. Or, yeah, driver data. I would assume it's damage. Maybe I'm just wrong. Well, I do know there's only I know the design only's got 25% fuel in the tank. We are not trying to leave this. Well, I'm doing the best I can. Well, I'm in telemetry, and oh, car telemetry. Got it. Like I said, guys, I'm coming back for the first time, and not only am I coming back for the first time, I'm coming back with literally a learning curve of everything right now. So just bear with me, and as the weeks go on, it will get better, I promise. So Bobberts is actually a little bit better on fuel than Design was. Design and Green were. I would assume they're pretty much the same. I don't want to hide telemetry. I want to get out of telemetry. The only thing I don't like about that is I gotta do that. But that's okay. That's no problem. So let's just go through the field real quick here for you guys. It's ESV Green, the race leader, first time competitor here at MEA, and leading this one over the guy behind him, which is F1R Design, trying to get the first win on the season, and the first win for the last couple of years here at MEA. And I know if one guy that would like to do it, it's definitely Design. So Design staying close to Green as we are just under the halfway point of this race. F1R Sean sitting in the third spot. Sean kind of fallen off a little bit as the race had currently gone on in the first 5 or so laps. He was sitting there right behind Design and kind of faded a little bit. Currently almost 4.5 seconds back behind the leaders. ESV Bobberts sitting in the fourth spot. Bobberts playing offense and defense, but has been spending most of his time today playing defense. So Bobberts trying to keep this car moving in the right direction. It's F1R Leg in the fifth spot right now. These drivers that I've just mentioned have only pitted once. Then 20 seconds back, 19 seconds back, it's sixth place driver AMSJJ Reds, who took a pit stop with also HRR Fridas in that seventh spot. Both drivers made a pit stop about 2 laps ago, assuming that there was a tire decision early on that made them pit maybe a little bit earlier. I could only imagine that they were probably on soft tires, while everyone else maybe is on the medium to hard tire. And then it's PTG Houseman in the 8th spot. We haven't talked about him yet today. Kind of by himself right now. Oh, Houseman getting wide there on the exit. And then it's King Cameron. King Cameron back there in the 9th spot. We got Roxman currently playing defense against AMS Rambo, who I believe just took a pit stop. So Rambo going to work right now. And Rambo making that very easily. So Roxman now in the 11th spot. AMS Rambo in the 10th spot. And Rambo, I believe Rambo started further back in the race. Climbed himself up to the top, I believe 6 or 7. And now has made a pit stop. And then EVR Rewar back there in the 12th spot, ahead of F1R Obvious, who unfortunately disconnected in this one early on. Meanwhile, back to the lead battle. It's F1R Design putting the pressure on ESV Green. Now I gotta ask you guys following in the chat, You're F1R Design, you're sitting there in the second spot. You've kind of faded here and there, but you haven't given up more than maybe a couple car lengths this entire race to the race leader. Showing pace, showing speed. What decisions do you make as a driver? Do you wait to pit when Green pits? Do you pit early before Green pits? Do you stay out and hope that maybe you can put down a better lap? Look at Design trying to get to the inside of Green and almost gets door to door with Green, and Green dives down, looking like he was going to enter pit road briefly there, but doesn't do so, and the battle for the lead is on as ESV Green and F1R Design putting on a show right now as we're near the midway point of this race. And Design not going away, staying to the bumper of Green. And Design's shown a lot of strength in this one. He's caught up. He's gotten to the bumper of Green. He's faded back a little bit. Has recovered each time. We've seen him go for a pass. So we know that Design is working it right now, trying to find the best opportunity to get by Green. Green gets a little bit out from under the tires there. Still maintains the race lead. So as these two continue to duke it out, we're going to go back to the fifth place driver, I meant, ESV Bobberts. And Bobberts, we missed it. He lost another position to F1R Leg. And Bobberts, we were talking about being on the defensive end. You can only imagine if maybe the tires are starting to go. We don't want the comparison. We want the damage, and the damage is not me going out of the lobby. That's not where we're headed. So Bobbert's getting a little bit of wear on the tires as F1R Leg's going to go into pit road. So a few drivers are now in pit road. It was ESV Green, the race leader, who pits first, and then Leg and Bobberts will follow. We got a new race leader, F1R Design. So F1R Design staying out for maybe one more lap to see if maybe he can jump ESV Green through the pit cycle. This is a big moment. Meanwhile, it's F1R Sean running in the second spot. Sean gonna pit here probably very soon. JJ Reds has passed. He has passed ESV Green as through the pit cycle. It's AMS JJ Reds now in the front. You gotta wonder if maybe JJ Reds is running the soft tire game here, as we're 15 of 32 laps down. F1R Design still your race leader, still out there with some worn tires. We know that it's only a matter of time before he's going to have to make a pit stop here. Leg still in front of ESV Bobberts. This is the closest battle on the track. We're going to hop on board with this. Well, you can only paint them so well. And you did a heck of a great job, Phoenix. We love seeing your paints. I always enjoy them. Bobberts now catching back up to F1R Leg. Leg was able to pass Bobberts before the pit cycle began. And Bobberts right now stalking his prey. You gotta wonder if they put different sets of tires on, because Bobberts is really cooking right now when it comes to this battle. I mean, he's really closed the gap since they've come out of pit road, and Bobberts starting to put that pressure on Leg, and Bobberts right to the bumper as they head into the corner now. Well, Bobberts, look, he does. He goes to the inside. They're door to door now. He's got halfway up on the car, and he'll dive down low, and he'll take over the sixth place spot, but looks like a possible crossover by Leg. Leg gets back to the door now. Bobberts will have the advantage. He'll be on the inside here. Leg looks, gonna try to maintain the outside, and Leg's gonna do it. Leg down to the inside, door to door. Bobberts with the power, and he'll stay in front of him. A nice battle there between ESV Bobberts and F1R Leg, and Leg tried to do the crossover, not able to get the job done. Bobberts with the power move to the outside to maintain his spot, and now Bobberts is starting to pull away from his rival competitor as the cycling has ended. AMS JJ Reds is your race leader over ESV Green. HYR Fridas as well is taking over the third spot, passing F1R Design. AMS JJ Reds now, he's got some more laps under those tires. Green's going to have to make it quick because right now AJ's going to make it difficult. Green looks to the inside. Green gets door to door with JJ Reds. They bang off the corner. ESV Green back to the inside, and he will take over the race lead. Not so fast. JJ Reds to the outside, trying to keep the side draft on the car, but just cannot get it done. JJ Reds tried to make it interesting there, just wasn't able to work it. F1R Design stayed out one extra lap, and it looks like it cost him. You gotta wonder though what the tire strategy was for Design. But the way the fuel mileage works, I'm not sure how. I know that some drivers can maintain better fuel, but can hold more in a long period of time, can save it. But I'm not sure what the strategy is for Design, and maybe staying out on those worn tires really cost him right there. So JJ Red's now trying to stick with ESV Green, and Green's now got almost a full second. Well, not a full second, I do apologize. We're in the intervals right now. He's got a second behind Frida's, and JJ just not able to stay with Green. What happened to F1R Design? He stayed out for one more lap. Could that have cost him the amount of time? Did the tires get too hot there at the end? Fading. I mean, if you're JJ Red, you're probably going to stick to your strategy at this point. No reason at this. I mean, that's the thing, right? You make decisions based on where you're at the race. And if JJ Red is running soft tires right now, that could explain a lot of how he got to the lead, but he lost it pretty quick once Green got there. And that's a tough break. I mean, you know, Design now working on HYR Fridas for the third spot, and you gotta think that he's hungry right now, and he's gonna try to make this work. Looking to the outside of Fridas, now dives low to the inside. Now the battle for third is on. HYR Fridas is gonna hold the outside as they head into the kink. To the inside, Design, still door to door, front of the car to the rear wheel well, and Design will take over the third spot with Fridas falling back to fourth, and both Green and Design having to work to get their spots back. But it's a tough break right now for F1R Design, who was sticking to ESV Green the entire time. And Green starting to pull away from JJ Reds, and Design now tracking down the AMS driver further back. Leg has retaken the spot back from ESV Bobberts. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, am I sorry? Yeah, no, he's taking the spot back. What happened to ESV Bobberts? Not sure. We missed that. That's a shame. As Sean starting to creep up on Bobberts, it looks like, for the sixth spot. Now, when it comes to the top 7 right now, we know one thing. Everyone's on a different strategy. Everyone had a different pit stop. We think that AMS JJ Reds and HYR Fridas are both on the soft tire strategy, while I feel like Green is probably still running the medium tires. I would assume Design's doing the same thing. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the MEA GT Championship Series, as we are halfway over this one, as it's kind of taken a a slight turn as Design stayed out for one extra lap when Green pitted, and then fell back dramatically compared to he was right on him when Green had pitted. So you got to think that the worn tires affected Design, and Design fell back as far as fourth. But you gotta think, like, the one thing about racing is the strategy, right? It comes and it goes. You don't know what your opponent's gonna do as Design, and I don't know why it swapped over. Fritas is now on pit road, that's why. HYR Fritas is in pit road, and I think the assumption is there that they were running soft tires, and that would explain why JJ was able to take the lead during the cycle. However, it seems like JJ Reds is kind of holding on to his tires a little bit better than HYR Fritas was, as they're going through a lap car right now of Roxman. So really we're paying attention to right now is F1R Sean slowly creeping up on ESV Bobberts, who's had quite the day, an up and down day, kind of sitting there in the 5th spot. He opened up the race battling with JJ Reds, lost the 3rd spot immediately, had fallen back as far as 6th at one point, and then has been battling between Leg, and at one point he was also battling Obvious and Fritas, as it's kind of taken a twist as Obvious had disconnected, unfortunately. And then you got Fritas, who is on that 3rd pit stop now, and you gotta assume it's soft tires given how early that stop has been made. Now, stimulation damages on these drivers can get some sort of damage, but the way that had kind of played out, I would assume it was probably tires at that point of the race. So Bobbert's just sitting there chilling in the 5th spot, and AMS JJ Reds is now down in pit road, and JJ Reds about a lap and a half later will take a pit stop after HYR Fritas as well took a pit stop. So interesting strategy. You gotta wonder what their plan is. I gotta think at this point maybe you slap on the hards, see how far you can take that car to the end, or do you commit yourself to the soft tire strategy? So F1R Leg here in the 3rd spot. Now it's been kind of spread out on these drivers, as F1R Design no longer sitting behind ESV Green, who's pretty much led this entire race except for a couple laps. And the intervals are messing up, 122 seconds. Oh, that's crazy. So it's getting tough out there for some of these drivers. You gotta think, if you're Design, Green's past the S's, Design's now getting into the S's. You got Leg and Bobbert sitting there 3rd and 4th, Sean sitting in the 5th spot. So that's what we're gonna pay attention to, is these 3 right here. Further back, it's JJ Reds and HYR Fritas, who pitted about a lap before JJ Reds did. As we said before, we're under the assumption that they're running on soft tires. And, the soft tire game isn't bad, but you have to have the pace, it feels like. The very few races I've had in the game, when I ran strictly soft tires, like, you gotta have the pace. You gotta be able to outrun your opponents in order to stay on that type of strategy, and that's a very tough strategy to be on. If, they're on their 3rd pit stop of the race, we gotta think right now, how do you manage yourself the rest of the race? How do you get through these next 11 laps? as it looks like JJ might be on a different tire now as HYR Fritas gets to the outside, going door to door for the 6th place spot. Got a nose ahead of JJ Reds, gets to the inside, and Fritas will take over the 6th spot. JJ falls back to 7th. And you got to think that Fritas might still be on a softer tire than JJ. JJ might have switched over to a medium to hard tire to try to maintain the rest of this race and avoid another pit stop. It would be interesting to see how that plays out. As ESV Bobbert still sitting a little bit in front of Sean, but it looks like he's catching back up to Leg in that 3rd spot. And Bobbers is the kind of guy that doesn't like settling for anything worse than first. And you can say that for 99% of people that compete and race, but you can also say that, you know, you have a benchmark as a driver. Where do you want to be in the race? And Bobbers is one of those guys that if he's not sitting up there at the top 2, it's not good enough. But when do you start talking to yourself as your own person, knowing that maybe the top of the mountain has come and gone as a competitor, and you're just out there hanging on to what you got? And that's not a dig towards anybody. That's just a general question to any athlete, any competitor, whatever you do in life. How much longer can you sustain the level of competition that you once done? And that's the inner battle for a lot of people. As we see Roxman get out of the way of Sean, we're gonna hop on rewar for not even 2 seconds, and I believe that's Roxman who's been kind of getting out of the way. As maybe that wasn't Roxman. Maybe that was King Cameron who they were going around. I thought it was a darker car. Yeah, I think it was Cam. Man, no, it wasn't. No, maybe it was Helsman. I'm just hopping through drivers. I'm trying to see who we were passing there. But Bobbers is starting to catch up to Leg. Design, and here you are. Design's working on a lap car now of Roxman, who's sitting there in 11th. Roxman and Hausman both a lap down in this one, with Obvious disconnected out of the race. As Design now going by the lap down car. Roxman trying to get a little bit of that draft as they enter the S's. Not very useful there though. Probably getting in line more for his run through. ESV Green still leading here with 10 to go. And I have to agree that if JJ and Fritas were both running the soft tire up to the point of that 3rd pit stop, you got to think that the mediums, the hards are where you're at. Now, if I was competing, I'd probably put the hards on because I wouldn't want to make another stop. I'd try to manage what I can get left and maybe play some defense by passing some people under their last stop or stops, whatever that may be. At this point, if anyone does stop, it's probably one more time, if at all. But I think JJ and Fritas, though the strategy was exciting, they both took, I mean, the fact that they both jumped pretty much the 2 leaders, JJ passing ESV Green for a few laps, and then you had Fritas sitting around the 3rd spot in front of Design. And you still got a feel for Design because Design was right there with Green up to that point. And, you know, you gotta wonder, did that one? I mean, we didn't check the tires. We didn't see how worn out his car was at that point. But you gotta think that the tires were so worn that maybe in the back half of that extra lap that he took cost him, being almost 6 seconds behind the leader now. And you are right about that. 100% correct. I mean, He is cutting into the lead, but does he have enough time to get there? That's the question. As we hop on to the third place battle, and it's on! We got a 3-car blanket right now for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place spot, as Leg is now under fire from ESV Bobberts, and Bobberts is now under fire from F1R Sean, and it's Sean looking to the outside of Bobberts as they come off the corner. Bobberts gonna have to hold the outside. They got Roxman in front of them. We got a lap down car who can also play a factor here. Hopefully it won't affect too much. Sean goes to the inside, and Sean gets to the outside of Leg and Bobberts going to pit road. And if they didn't go in, I gotta wonder. Oh no. Why is it saying everyone's leaving the group? I don't see any other DNFs. What was a little bit confusing there was when Leg went to pit, it hologrammed, and I gotta wonder if that was just the spectate mode, or was that a pause and then throwing the car in to avoid having to take another lap. And if that's the case, that could be a penalty. That wouldn't be okay, as Sean, the new race leader, on the other hand. And I wonder if Sean's running on some hards. But that was a big moment there as we watched 3 cars duking it out. Sean was passing both Bobberts and Leg in that moment, and then both drivers had gone down to pit road. Okay, so that makes more sense. I was going to say that was a really weird moment there. I don't like that, but that makes more sense. So thank you for correcting that, as F1R Sean still staying out on the track. And you gotta wonder, how far can Sean go? I'm gonna check on Sean here in a minute if he continues on without pitting to see where his fuel is at. And Bobbert's trying to work Leg again. And this has been a good battle all race. These two have really been just duking it out with one another. No one's really gotten the better of the other. It's been a lot of fun to watch, honestly, as Bobbert's now working on Leg once again. And Bobbert's putting the pressure on, trying to take the spot away, and F1R Sean did, in fact, go in pit road. So I was wondering if Sean needed... I didn't know if he needed to pit, or if he was going to try to run on those tires. You know, we don't know what tires they put on, but we can only imagine, right, that, hey, anything's possible. If you got the fuel to do it, you might as well take a chance. You just never know. But that would cycle ESV Green back to the lead. Now, however, ladies and gentlemen, as it's been pointed out, Design has closed the gap from 6 seconds to 3.5 and closing on ESV Green. So ESV Green is going to have to keep an eye out, because F1R Design's not done just yet. Can Design get back to the battle? We're going to hop on them soon. They're right here. At one point, where Frida's was how far back you could have seen Design, after being on the back bumper for almost the entire first 15 or so laps, maybe not, it was around 13 to 15 laps, and then falling off about 6 to 7 seconds. I mean, that was wild. So now that we've gone through the pit cycle, ladies and gentlemen, Frida's is the only question mark I have, because, and okay, so that just answered itself, because Frida's like JJ Reds, was running a very interesting strategy off of the first pit cycle. They both had taken soft tires. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. They took soft tires. They were able to jump the leaders through the pit cycle, but they had to take another stop. And I'm pretty sure this is Frida's 4th pit stop. So you got to think Frida's is probably gonna go back on softs at this point. I mean, you might as well you're taking your 4th stop, put the softs on, try to see if you can collect a couple more spots as JJ goes on by there. Sean sitting in the 5th spot, and not only that, we're possibly back to a 3-car battle here. We're going to keep an eye on that as much as we're going to keep an eye on the race leader. It's ESV Green on the screen right now. Has led probably 22, 23 laps of this race. At one point, JJ Reds had the lead, and at another point, Sean had a lead. So both of those drivers ran a couple of laps out there. Design's on the hunt, but not catching as we would like to possibly see for a lead battle. And here we go. Battle for the 3rd spot is on. It's ESV Bombers putting the pressure on HYR. Oh, sorry, it's Leg. I'm sorry. I thought, my bad. That was my bad. But he's putting the pressure on Leg right now. I thought HYR was up there for some reason. He was for a minute, but I got too excited in that moment. I'm sure that's a blooper. But Bobbert's putting the pressure on Leg now, and you got to think F1R Sean is enjoying this. He's probably saying to them, go ahead, keep it up, keep it going. I want to see more of this. As Bobberts kind of juggles it a little bit there. So F1R Design not closing the gap as much as we thought he was. I mean, he was at the moment. He got it down about 3.2. It's back to 3.5. And then you got Roxman and PTG Houseman, who I believe are the only cars a lap down. EVR Rewar, I believe, still on the lead lap. AMS Rambo, 9th. And we haven't seen a lot of Rambo since the start of the race. Rambo got a bunch of spots early on and then had kind of faded out of this one as the race had continued. So Frida's behind JJ Red. You got to wonder if Frida's going to be on those soft tires, possibly able to catch JJ Reds here in the late stages of the race, as Bobbert's still working Leg right now. Now these two drivers got a couple more laps in on their tires than F1R Sean. So could these tires play a factor when we're down to a couple to go? It's great to be back once again here at MEA. It's great to be back at Forza Motorsports. It's great to be back to the community and everybody that has made us over the years, the drivers, the people that just tune in to watch, everybody that's part of this organization or has competed. It's not possible to return without the interest, and the interest was there, and we're glad to have everyone here with us, and we hope to make MEA big again and put on some great shows, as we got about 5 laps to go here at Silverstone, the first round of the MEA GT Championship Series, driving the Aston Martin. And then as the weeks go on, ladies and gentlemen, the car will change week to week. It's not going to be the same car. The old system was we had different types of cars, and you were able to kind of change from week to week based on what was available. Bobbert's briefly looking to the outside of Leg. They're not able to make much happen. F1R Design has dropped another half second back to the leader. So it's, unless something happens, I would assume it's safe to say that Green's got this one, and Green's the one that could lose it. Roxman now a lap down in front of the battle for 3rd. Roxman still sitting in a kind of a tough spot here. Oh my gosh, they're going to split Roxman, and Leg is able to maintain the spot. What a month. Bobbert's to the inside! And Bobbert's now getting door to door, looks to the outside, can't get nothing there. Oh, he looks to the he almost got his nose in there, can't get the run. Leg able to hang on, and now Sean, during all of that, has gained a little bit on these two and easily got by Roxman there. So Bobbert's now to the inside, and Bobbert's now will get to the 3rd spot, but Leg crosses him over. Door to door now as they come around the corner, and Bobbert's now has taken over the 3rd spot and back to where he started. And Bobbers has had an up and down race. He really has. I mean, he's been playing a lot of defense, but then this second half of the race, he's kind of come to life on the offensive end. The only thing about it is he spent probably 70% of this race battling it out with his leg. So these two really put on a show for us here today. And Sean's still there. I mean, Sean, we're not gonna ignore the fact that Sean's sitting in the background. Sean, a former champion here at MEA. He is the previous champion of the MEA GT Championship Series. So he was the last driver to win this championship a couple years ago. And watch me be wrong about that, but I know for a fact that he won the championship. And he's the defending champion. H by our leg. Yeah, I had a moment there. So Design now drops another 2/10 back, but the battle we're watching on the track right now is 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and Sean's now entering the picture once again. And just before the pit cycle, Sean had passed both of these drivers at the same time. Right before Leg and Bobberts both went in the pit road. It was definitely fun to see. And here we go. We're back at it once again. The 3-car battle is on for position. I'm not changing cameras, just changing drivers, and not that driver. Let's hop on with Leg. He's in the middle of this group. So right now they're just about a car length or two apart from one another from 3rd to 5th. With only a couple laps to go now, you gotta think some things are gonna happen here between these three. So this is going to be interesting here. Bobbert still leads the front of these 3 cars. Bobberts and Leg have been duking it out all race long. Sean has kind of mixed with them the last about 5 to 6 laps. So Leg now putting the pressure back on ESV Bobberts. Bobberts looking to try to maintain the position that he started. And Bobbert's getting a little squiggly there off the corner. Leg now got to run. Leg looks to the inside. Leg's not going to be able to get there, and he almost found a way through. But it's now Sean putting some pressure on Leg, the 2 F1R teammates. They got a little bump in there. A little teammate action. And Sean looking to make a couple of passes here late. As Bobbert's playing a lot of defense right now. This is very familiar to how the race had originally started. Bobberts, who was battling, trying to stay into the top 5, defended for his life early on, was able to come alive here in the last half of the race. But now, as the race is coming to the closing stages, he's back on the defensive end. And he's got some tough arrivals as F1R Sean says, you guys can be battling, but I'm here to fight. So Sean is going to make this pretty interesting, and for the most part, the lap traffic has been very tame, has been respectfully getting out of the way of these battles, so I'm not too concerned about any lap traffic, but it has made a very interesting a part of this race, because when Bobberts and Leg had to split Roxman, that lost them a ton of time. Sean was able to skip by Roxman, and then as the other two were able to kind of collect themselves, he was able to kind of close a bit of the gap, and now he's here. As they go down the long straight, it looks like Leg has a run, gonna have to go to the outside and not able to keep it there. And boom, man, I thought Sean, but Bobberts makes a mistake. He gets wide off the corner, Leg to the inside. inside, and Lake will take over the 3rd spot. F1R Sean now working on the ESV Boberts for the 4th spot. And it's going to be interesting here because, I thought he might have had him there because I didn't think Boberts was in position to defend another car. He was able to get the job done, and Boberts losing the spot to Lake once again. These two have been going back and forth, back and forth. Sean in the mix. Sean waiting for his moment, going to try to fight himself through a couple of these drivers to get to that 3rd top 3. And Sean, he started 2nd when this race had begun. And Design started 4th, so Design is kind of the hard charger outside of Rambo. Rambo was the hard charger early on. He went through like 5 cars. And Sean loses a little bit of momentum there, and that's going to put him in a little bit of a non-attacking moment. So while these two start going to work again, Sean's going to have to regroup himself. And Boberts putting in that work. We'll put up the race map, and it's just not going to happen right now for Design. It looks like and you got to give Design credit. He's able to run with green. Just that one decision to stay out one extra lap definitely feels like it cost him. And it cost him a lot worse than where the distance is right now. I mean, he's been sitting there, trying to regroup himself, but I mean, he's regrouped himself rather well. Before the last pit stop, he was able to close the gap, and then he had that lead back down to about under 3 seconds for a moment, and Green just has put on a clinic, and Design trying, as you see Green going on, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Rewar has gone a lap down, but that's his first lap going down, and so it's taken the whole race for them to catch him. Meanwhile, back in 3rd, it's still a battle, but ESV Boberts is under fire once again from F1R Sean, and that's not what Boberts needs right now. Boberts needs Sean to lay off because he's trying to get to leg. And he's not going to. Sean to the inside! Sean will take over the 4th spot, but Boberts is trying to cross back over, getting to the outside of Sean. Door to door, but this, once again, you get to that little, it's kind of like a paperclip, but it's not. You get to that little section there, it's just so hard to maintain the outside when you're next to somebody, and you gotta wonder, are the tires fading on Boberts? Is he driving a little bit more aggressively than his 2 other competitors right now? I mean, Sean is working them though, and this is what we expected from Sean. He pitted like 2 laps later, so he's got a little bit fresher tires on, and he's picking them off one by one, and Boberts is fading. Sean now trying to get to the 3rd spot. He's going to take a look to the inside. He's going to get the nose there. Oh no, he doesn't. It was very, very close. And Sean working, trying to find a way through, trying to get himself into that top 3 spot. He's going to look to the outside to go down the straight. Here he comes, though. ESV Green. The first time ever in MEA. The first time back in 2 years for MEA. It's a newcomer. ESV Green is going to win at Silverstone. F1R Design did everything he could, but he'll bring it home 2nd, back to the 3rd place spot. Sean able to get by Leg. I'm so sorry we missed it, guys. I want to make sure we got the leader there. And Sean able to get by Leg in the final moments will take home the top 3 spot. Leg will come in 4th. 5th will be ESV Boberts. Meanwhile, it's HYR Fritas. He was able to get by AMS JJ Reds. And JJ, we said it, he was going to go under a different tire strategy. Both those drivers went with soft tires early on. Fritas is going to get a top 6. As AMS JJ Reds. Early strategy didn't work out, but it looks like the softer tires there at the end prevailed for Fritas. And here it comes. AMS Rambo now trying to take to the 8th spot. Rambo to the outside of King Cameron. Rambo down the straightaway. And we hadn't talked a lot about either one of these drivers today. And look at Cameron now going to the inside, trying to fight back. AMS Rambo salvaging what wasn't a bad day given where he started. Again, he kind of went through the field early on and then kind of faded out. Coming around one more turn, it's going to be AMS Rambo in the 8th spot and King Cameron in 9th. 10th place driver, EVR Rewar, on the final lap. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, MEA's post-race interviews coming up next. We're going to pull the top 3 drivers of ESV Green, F1R Design, and F1R Sean. We're going to try to get a quick word with those drivers following this race. And we just got word that Green has another lead to get to. So we're going to try to get Sean and Lagan here. So EVR Rewar is going to finish 10th. And Roxman looks like it's going to finish in front of Houseman there. Houseman right there with him late. I believe they have one more lap together going through the AI, or at least the spectate mode is. So that is a wrap up here at Silverstone for round 1 of the MEA GT Championship Series. And what a race we had. There was a lot of action. ESV Green was able to hold off F1R Design early on in this race. The difference factor of the race, though, was the pit stop. Design made a later pit stop. We're going to get him in here as well. Alright, so we're going to get some of these drivers in, and we're going to pull up the race results real quick, and we'll make sure we get all the results that we need. We don't want to lose those. Alright, so post-race interviews coming up next. We're going to bring in F1R Design. He finished runner-up from ESV Green. And why does nothing work right? I hate the new Xbox crap. So we'll get those drivers in here momentarily. Alright, so we're getting the drivers in now, and once all 3 of those drivers pop on in here, we'll begin the interview process. But what a race we had up front. I mean, it was ESV Green and F1R Design very early on in this race. For about the first 15, 16 laps, they were going at it nose to tail. It looked like Design had a lot of opportunities to try to make a moment happen, stay out for an extra lap, which, you know, that's what we think cost him. but we'll talk to design and see what happened throughout that race, and then obviously Bobberts and Leg there. Those guys were duking it out with Sean all race long. But Sean came in later on with that. So you guys had just jumped in to the chat. If I'm not sure if you guys need to check off a box, but the audio to the chat should be in. All right. And remember, guys, just keep it PG for me, please. Thank you. And we're going to start with some of the top guys, and we're going to start with Design here. ESB Green had to go to another series, so we won't get to talk to him, but we will get to talk to Design. And Design, first and foremost, it's great to see you back on the racetrack. It's great to see you under the MEA blanket. And what a show you put on early on. You're battling with ESV Green. You had opportunities, and then it seemed like you stayed out hoping that maybe that might have made the difference. But I got to ask you, what happened in that moment? How did you get so far behind? And I would assume that the tires kind of gave up on you on that extra lap.
First of all, great to be back. Couldn't wait for the season to start. No, man, we had a track hooked up. I was banking on Green going a different route, and I kind of just whiffed it. I took the mediums one lap too far, and that's just on me. I had better tire wear in the first stint. Green's car was getting a bit slippy, and it could have went different had I pitted with Green the first stint, but we live and we learn, right?
And that comes down to the question. If you're not willing to take a chance, you don't know if it might work. And you took a chance, and you decided, hey, I'm going to take another lap. And the thing for me that was really shocking for you in that moment was just how far behind you got from taking the extra lap. If you figure you might, if you lose anything, it wouldn't be too much. But it seemed like it was just too much to overcome. And you were able to kind of cut the lead down before the final pit, but then after that, it kind of seemed like a stalemate for you.
Yeah, so we elected for 14 medium to have one shorter stint on softs. So it would have been 14, 8, and 9, or 9, 8, depending on what the other drivers did. And in that 8 lap, the 8-lap stint, I was able to find like 3.5 seconds or so. But it just wasn't enough. I lost too much on taking the mediums an extra lap, and then I kind of got unfortunate luck with traffic coming out on that first stop as well.
Well, it's great to have you back. Like I said, tell me what your goals are for this championship. We know that this is a big one you circle on. This is a championship you'd like to win. We know we talked about it in the past, and it seems like you got something for Green. And I haven't seen him before, but after seeing him today, I can see what all the talk is about, and it looks like you can match him. And do you feel like you can continue that pace throughout this championship?
Green is very, very fast indeed. This is actually my first series properly going against him. So, as you know, I put a lot of effort into the lead up for MEA events. A little bit too much, maybe sometimes. But if that's what it takes for me to be competitive with the guys up front, then I will continue to do so. And I see we have a couple rain races on the calendar, and that has been my strong suit in the past couple seasons at MEA. So hopefully I can steal a few to take over this championship before the 6 weeks are over.
And just one more quick question for you. On top of all that stuff, we did see Sean early on kind of hang with you guys, and I know Sean's Mike's, but he's supposed to send us a little information for today's race. But if not, do you feel like Sean might be up there in the battle for the championship as well, or how do you feel between you and Green? Obviously, it's going to be an interesting championship, and you talk about these rain races, but we also know that Sean has shown a lot of strong suit in these rain races, and not including all these other guys that are coming in. It seemed like there was a lot of tough competitors, and as the race went along today, you kind of saw who was more consistent, but it seems like this is still a wide open championship.
I 100% will never count Sean out, ever. We've seen it time and time again. He's the back-to-back champion as we speak, so the reigning champion, and he will 100% be bringing the fight in the upcoming races. So I don't expect to see anything less from him.
Well, congratulations on a great race today. We know it's not the way you wanted it to end, but we also want to thank you for coming back and not just being a competitor, but being a voice for MEA and kind of bringing back the fire, that letting everyone know that, hey, we're back and we're glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, ma'am.
Oh, most certainly. And that was F1R Design finishing second place. And we're going to move down. I believe Sean hasn't said nothing yet. So we're going to move on to F1R. And Leg, is it Legret? Okay, I do apologize. I might butcher it one more time down the road. But your race was very entertaining. You and ESV Bobberts battling it out for a lot of the second half of the race. The first half of the race, you were kind of coming through, and when you finally got the Bobberts, that's when the battle between the two of you began. And it never went away. You guys were with each other for probably 80% of this race, and then Sean came in, with about 10 laps to go. You guys pitted after Sean kind of got underneath both of you, and then he comes again at the end. I mean, take us through all those moments. That was a tough fourth place finish for you, but it had to be a lot of fun. And you talk about enjoying the moment and racing with those guys like that. What are your goals for this championship? And I believe you're a first timer here at MEA, and we're glad to have you. But and if you aren't, please correct me. But what's your goal for the championship? What are you looking to get out of it? And how do you feel like you're going to contend with some of these guys that were a little bit further up today? Yeah. Well, like you said, the experience is one of the best things you can get out of a championship, and to compete with these guys, that only makes you better. And like I said, we're glad to have you. Glad you joined the championship. We look forward to your season, and we appreciate you, and look forward to the weeks to come. So congratulations on a tough top 5. And that was F1R Legret. Sorry, Legret. I messed it up again. My bad. And we're gonna move down to I think Sean has sent something in. So before we get to Bobberts here, we pulled in Bobberts and Leg here for because the other two couldn't get in. And Sean post race comments. His mic's broken. He said it was an okay race from his side. Quite a few mistakes and a misstep on strategy, which made it harder than it needed to be. It's easy to look at my teammates' performance and feel I should have been further up there, but I think Design just did a great job and maximized what we could do. Definitely a race to build on, and I hope to be up there with him in the coming races. And, Sean's one of those guys that, like Design says, you don't roll out, you don't forget about him. He's a 2-time champion in this series for a reason, and, from past experience, he learns from a lot of his mistakes. But it was a great run for Sean. He finished 3rd overall, passing up Bobberts and Legret, and those 3 drivers together were a lot of fun. So congratulations to Sean, and obviously we're going to keep an eye on him going forward. And to finish off the night, it's 5th place finisher ESV Bobberts, and Bobberts, your race was a handful. You started this race up, I believe, 3rd, and as the race from the get-go started, you had JJ Reds on you, you had Design on you. I mean, you immediately were on the defensive end of this race, and then it felt like a lot of the race in the first half was defense. You were trying to maintain the top 5. You fell far as back 6th early on. You were able to fight your way back up, and then all of a sudden you're playing offense, and then later on you're back to defense. I mean, take us through the ride.
It was definitely a roller coaster, to put it mildly. I mean, yeah, there was. I completely forgot where the start line was. I won't lie. So obviously, I lost a place immediately and then obviously lost the place to JJ as well. So yeah, it was a tough start. I mean, he was just trying to settle in on the mediums. Obviously, as you know, a lot of the top drivers, or those at the top end of the grid, sorry, started on. Yeah, it's just one of those things, I suppose you could say. I mean, the pace was there at stints at particular times, and especially in the mediums when I got them up to speed and got them up to temperature, I was actually thought I could actually maybe claw my way up maybe towards the top two, but obviously that wasn't to be. Too many mistakes, like I said, just kicked in and went into the gravel twice. Didn't have my bucket and spade with me, unfortunately, so couldn't really make anything whilst I was there. But no, it was a great battle with Legrect pretty much all race, and then Sean as well. It's like it was like old times with Sean, I guess you could say once again. But obviously to have Legrect in there as well was like he touched on as well. It was one of the best battles I've had certainly in quite a while at least anyway. So I was just happy to be a part of that.
And you talk about that battle, and that battle was forever lasting. It seemed like anytime one of you got the better of the other one finally came back. There was moments in the race where whether you got in front of him or he got in front of you, you guys would kind of like, after passing each other, you would get a little bit of a gap, and then that gap after a few laps would come back. But you talk about late in the race, and we had Sean mixed into that. It was, I gotta ask, did the tires start fading a little bit too much, or were there too many mistakes there at the end after getting past with a couple to go?
I mean, I knew obviously when we undercut Sean, obviously we had a 2 second gap initially. I knew that if I was to have any chance of getting a podium, sorry, I had to get past Legrec. So I tried a few different ways. I just made too many mistakes through Margot's and Beckett's, and when I eventually got the run that I wanted, I finally made the move. And I thought, right, just try and settle down, and just I knew I could, if I kept it clean, keep Legrec behind me. But yeah, one mistake again, having to then defend, and then I just outbrought myself into Stowe. So the end of the back straight. Yeah, it's one of those things. At the end of the day, just got to learn from that, and well, like I said, there were some great moves from both our ends, between myself and Legrect, and even though I'm disappointed I'm fifth, it was still, a great battle nonetheless. So you take the positives from that. At least you can trust the people who are around you. You can have these good battles, and I don't see any reason as to why we can't have these for the rest of the season. And maybe I think try and do it for a podium finish. If not, I mean, maybe a win's a little bit of a stretch, but for a podium potentially, that would be that would be great.
And Boberts, you've been around for a long time. Since the start of MEA, you've been a big part of this as a whole, and having us back, it's awesome. And for you, we've talked about your as we're aging, right? Our performance changes, and you told me that you feel like you might have lost a little bit, but you're still competitive. How do you go into a championship like this? This is a place that you've been in the mix before. You've won titles here at MEA. And then you say things like that. How's that mentality go for you for the rest of this championship? You talk about a win might be a stretch, but we know you're competitive. We know you got a lot of fire in the belly still. So how do you take that approach week to week?
It's it's just making sure you get the laps in, get the practice in. Obviously, the good thing at least is I have a teammate in green who can push me even further. Obviously, there's no denying he's quicker, so at least if I can follow him as much as I can, then at least I'm doing something right. But yeah, the fire will always be there. There will always be something for MEA. Obviously, it is home, I guess you could say, at the end of the day. But no, like I said, I will still keep going. I'll still give it my all. Like I said, as age comes, the mistakes creep in a little more. But like I said, that's just part of racing at the end of the day. But like I said, as long as you have fun and you have these great battles, like I said, as we did tonight, then that's what matters most.
And Bobbers, we look forward to seeing how you play out in this championship. If tonight was anything but what it could be for the rest of the series, then we're in for a treat. And congratulations on a hard top 5 finish. We know it's not where you wanted to finish, but it was a lot of fun to watch you tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
That was ESV Bobbert's 5th overall, and that's going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, here at Silverstone in the MEA GT Championship Series. We had a fun one. It was great to come back. It was great to to see. I mean, it's just great to be back. It's great to be back in the booth. I was a little rusty to start, but that's okay. And we've learned a few things from the spectate mode, so that will get better as time goes on. But for sure, we had some awesome racing between Green and Design, and then that three-way battle between Sean, Legret, and Bobberts. I mean, and not only that, we talk about strategy, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about HYR Fritas and AMS JJ Reds with some wild takes early on. We figured out they were probably running sauce, and it looked like it bit them, but they had a lot of fun. From our point of view, it was a lot of fun to watch that play out. But again, ESV Green, your race winner here at Silverstone. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Once again, I'm SSR Mayhem. Thank you for tuning in and watching round 1 here at MEA. Thank you and have a good night.